Rupert Grint on a possible Harry Potter return amid HBO's reboot. It would have to feel right for an entire generation. Rupert Grint didn't just play Ron Weasley, he was Ron Weasley. The awkward bravery, the loyalty, the freckled humor, the way he stood just slightly in the shadow of greatness yet never faltered when it mattered most. Now, as HBO moves forward with its ambitious reboot of the Harry Potter universe, the question fans can't stop asking is simple but emotionally loaded: could Rupert Grint ever return to Hogwarts? The answer, like magic itself, is complicated. A new era at Hogwarts. HBO's announcement of a Harry Potter television reboot sent shockwaves through fandom worldwide, promising a more faithful, season-by-season adaptation of J.K. Rowling's 7 novels. The studio framed the project as a reimagining rather than a remake. New actors will step into roles once immortalized by Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, an idea that has thrilled some fans and unsettled others. For Grint, the reboot represents something both exciting and surreal. "I think it's a great idea," he said in recent interviews, speaking with a careful blend of enthusiasm and emotional distance. "The books are so rich, there's so much there that the films just couldn't fit." Still, while he supports the creative vision, Grint has been clear about one thing: he doesn't see himself stepping back into Ron Weasley's shoes, letting go of Ron Weasley for Rupert Grint. Harry Potter wasn't just a job, it was his childhood. Cast at age 11, he grew up on set, learning adulthood in between takes, premieres, and global fame. By the time Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2 wrapped in 2011, Grint had spent a full decade living as one of the most recognizable characters in modern fiction. "It's such a huge part of my life," he's reflected, "but it also feels very complete." That word, complete, comes up often when Grint discusses the franchise. Unlike many actors who openly campaign for revivals or reunions, he approaches the idea with caution. The emotional arc feels finished, and reopening it carries risks. "There's something nice about letting it live where it is," he said. "I wouldn't want to cheapen it." Could he return as someone else? Still, fans haven't given up hope, and neither, interestingly, has Rupert Grint entirely. When pressed about a possible appearance in the HBO reboot, Grint hasn't outright said never. Instead, he leaves the door cracked open, just enough for imagination to slip through. "If it made sense," he said carefully. "If it felt right." That caveat has ignited speculation across the fandom. Could Grint return not as Ron, but as a new character? A professor? A ministry official? Even a villain? Some fans dream of him as an older Arthur Weasley-type figure, a warm, slightly chaotic mentor. Others imagine him in a darker role, subverting the wholesome image that defined his early career. Grint himself hasn't leaned into the speculation, but he hasn't shut it down either. "I'd be curious," he's admitted, "but it would have to be something very different." Life after Potter. Part of Grint's hesitation stems from how far he's traveled since leaving Hogwarts behind. Unlike some of his co-stars, Grint didn't chase blockbuster stardom. Instead, he took a quieter, more eclectic path: indie films, stage work, and most notably, television roles that allowed him to reinvent himself. His turn in M. Night Shyamalan's Servant was a revelation. As Julian Pierce, Grint delivered a performance layered with grief, sarcasm, and moral ambiguity, worlds away from Ron Weasley's earnest innocence. Critics praised his depth, and audiences saw, perhaps for the first time, just how much range he possessed. "That show really changed things for me," Grint has said. "It gave me confidence to explore darker, stranger characters." He's also stepped into a new role off-screen: fatherhood. Since welcoming his daughter, Grint has been vocal about how his priorities have shifted. "I'm much more protective of my time now," he's explained. "Anything I do has to really matter." The weight of legacy. Returning to the Harry Potter universe isn't just a creative decision, it's a legacy one. The original cast holds a sacred place in pop culture history. Their performances are etched into collective memory, replayed endlessly across streaming platforms and holiday marathons. Any return risks disrupting that legacy, especially in a reboot where new actors will already be under immense pressure. Grint seems acutely aware of this. "It's their time," he said of the incoming cast. "They should get to make it their own." That respect for the story, for the fans, and for the future defines Grint's approach. Rather than positioning himself as a gatekeeper or nostalgic anchor, he's chosen to step back and let the magic evolve. Fans still hold out hope despite his careful distance. Fans remain deeply attached to the idea of Rupert Grint returning in some capacity. Social media is filled with fan art, casting theories, and emotional pleas. "Bring him back as a professor. Make him a wizard bartender. Let him cameo as a random red-haired wizard just once. Grint has acknowledged the love with gratitude. It's really touching. He said, "I never take that for granted, and perhaps that affection is part of why the possibility, however remote, still lingers." So, will he return? If there's one thing clear about Rupert Grint's stance, it's this: he's not chasing a return to Hogwarts, but he's not running from it either. Any involvement would need to be thoughtful, purposeful, and respectful of what came before. Not nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, not a gimmick, but something that adds depth rather than distracts from it. In a franchise defined by magic, timing matters. For now, Rupert Grint seems content watching from the sidelines, proud of what was, curious about what's coming, and grounded in the life he's built beyond the wizarding world. And maybe that's the most Ron Weasley thing of all, knowing when to step forward, and when to let others shine. If you'd like, I can add exclusive style quotes, make it more dramatic or more news-focused, rewrite it as a viral blog post or entertainment news feature, adapted for SEO or social media captions. Just say the word.